Well, the impact and energy of both campaigns' ground games are about to be put to the test. Starting today, Wisconsin begins mailing ballots requested by voters just days ahead of the federal deadline for absentee ballots to be sent to military and overseas voters. With a dozen other states preparing to send out their own mail-in ballots, this is a critical time. And here's why. In the 2016 election, 2020 was a little off because of COVID. The combination of absentee and overseas ballots were more than the difference in the vote margins in all 7 battleground states. Take Georgia specifically. That difference was just 717 votes. Joining us now, Yasmin Radjy is Executive Director of Swing Left and Vote Forward. Welcome back to the program. You spend pretty much all of your time looking at a ground game. So help us quantify the importance of early voting.
Thank you so much for the question. I mean, as your chart just showed, voting is already started in a lot of parts of this country. Election day is the last day to vote. And I think all we do at Swing Left is make sure that volunteers and donors are able to channel all of their energy, their time, and their money to the places that, as you just showed, are going to come down to the margins. All of those states, we've got 47 days left in this election, but in places like Wisconsin, where people are getting their ballots today, knocking on those doors this Saturday could be the difference. And just to kind of paint a picture of what that looks like, I just met with one of our target House candidates, Dr. Amish Shah, out in Arizona, a critical race that's going to be probably down to a couple hundred votes in the end. And something that he was sharing with me is he's got a 20-day runway until not just mail-in voting, but in-person early voting starts in his district. And the overwhelming majority of the people that he needs to recruit to vote for him are going to be voting early, whether it's in person or by mail. So for him, he's like, I've got 20 days to knock every door, to make every call, to get those donations in. And so I hope your viewers who are feeling fired up about this election but haven't yet either donated or volunteered are taking action today, and we'll help them at swingleft.org.
I just talked this morning to the Wisconsin Republican chair, who has been somebody who's really pushed hard for early voting against the feelings of some of the people in his party, right? He knows how competitive it's going to be in Wisconsin. He put it this way: having Ron Johnson and Tammy Baldwin both in the U.S. Senate is like a psychiatrist's couch of politics. So it just tells you how divided that electorate is, right? Are you sensing, though, that there's been a change in attitude among a lot of Republicans and early voting is going to be a lot more competitive this year?
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in Virginia last cycle. It was sort of this contrast between Donald Trump trying to link early voting into his conspiracy theories around the integrity of the election, while Republicans in an off-year election in Virginia were pushing early voting because they know how much it matters. And it matters, and I think this is really important, it matters because with so few days in an election and a really calcified electorate where the rigidity of the polarized electorate means there are very few people for Republicans or Democrats to persuade to get out and vote or to switch sides. With so few of those people, we've got to spend all our time on those people. And so Republicans and Democrats know if we can get the people on our sides to vote early, we don't need to worry about them. We don't need to worry about getting them out to vote. Then we can focus on that small sliver of non-calcified voters. And Republicans might talk a big game about how they don't support it, but their get out the vote efforts shows a very different story, particularly among seniors, among people who are very, very reliable voters. So we've got some work to do to make sure the numbers are high on our side, too.
But he told me exactly what you just said. The fewer people who are out there who you need to really focus on, the better it is, I guess, for both sides. Yasmin, always good to have you on the program. Thank you so much.